Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now. It is Tuesday, February 28th. Ian Cameron, just yours truly today. A solo mission on this Tuesday, ready to break down the Tuesday card. Alex will be back with us tonight on the live betcast, and we have to start this show talking about the live betcast, which is tonight. Usually it's going to be Tuesdays moving forward. We're excited about it. It was a ton of fun last Tuesday. It was a great turnout. There were about 10 people on the stream at one time, pretty much for the entire betcast last night. And as you know, with the StreamYard limit is about 10 people on every live stream. So we actually we were at full capacity for much of the night. And we had to basically say to people, hey, come back in 2 hours and maybe you'll be able to get back on the betcast when there's some free spots available. So it was a great turnout last Tuesday. We hope for more of the same tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time, live betting and commentary. Me, Alex B. Smith, and a bunch of our guests, viewers, and listeners of the show. Anyone that wants to join us, hey, it's like an open bar, an open pub atmosphere. Come on in, have a seat at the bar, and join us for the live betcast tonight. Of course, we'll be just watching the games unfold, live betting, commentary, all of that taking place tonight. Drinking is encouraged. Make sure those fridges, we always say before a betcast, make sure those fridges are stocked. And we want that to be the case for everybody. DM at Bobano on Twitter or email Bobano350 at gmail.com to request a spot on the betcast. And I will make sure I send you the link for the betcast before it begins. So looking forward to that tonight. Great question by John in the chat. How late is it going to go? We'll be on for at least until the conclusion of the Boston, Calgary, and Chicago, Arizona games. Those games start at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be on for at least those games until they finish. Montreal, San Jose is going to have to knock my socks off in the late night hours and be some kind of the terrific hockey game between two teams, that aren't going anywhere for us to go longer than that. Okay, I'll be honest. So that's basically the way we're going to go about it here tonight. We'll definitely be on from 7 p.m. Eastern right till the end of the Boston, Calgary, Chicago, Arizona games. And then we'll reevaluate things at that point and see what the Montreal, San Jose game is like and if it's been exciting or if it's a snore fest. And we'll make a decision at that point whether to shut the betcast down and wrap it up for the night or keep going until the end of the Montreal San Jose game. So that's where we're at in terms of the betcast tonight. So looking forward to it. So again, we're absolutely going to be on for at least 4.5 hours. It'll be 7 to about 11:30 at least, which is when the 9 p.m. Eastern games will go. So we're looking forward to it. Another Ice Guys live betcast tonight. Make sure you join us for that. Very quickly on last night's action, it was a pretty decent night for me overall. I mean, the props, we had some good winners with the prop board. Detroit and Ottawa. Ottawa, very impressive performance last night. They get the win. They deserve the win. They outplayed Detroit thoroughly in that game. Even in the first period when Detroit was up 1-0 after the first 20 minutes, Ottawa had the better of the play in the first period. So they got rewarded, justly rewarded with the victory over Detroit last night. I ended up splitting there with the over and with Detroit in that game. Of course, those same two teams play each other again tonight in Ottawa. So we will talk about what to expect in that one. We also saw, of course, last night, the Boston Bruins get another victory, 3-2 over Edmonton. There's just no stopping the Boston Bruins. And they showed you why they are so dangerous in the spring coming up in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The ability to, shut it down and protect a lead, including protect a 1-goal lead on the road. And they did a phenomenal job of it last night in the win against the Edmonton Oilers 3-2. McDavid had a pretty damn good hockey game, but again, wasn't enough. Boston able to get the 3-2 win in Edmonton last night. What else did we see? We ended up seeing the Vancouver Canucks stunning the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars, the king of the draw. That has become clear as day. Of course, we are trying to get the hashtag trending here on the Ice Guys show, draw season, and it's definitely draw season when it comes to the Dallas Stars. I now go into every Dallas game moving forward expecting overtime in their game, expecting it to go beyond the third period. It has just become such a regular occurrence for the Dallas Stars. How about the fact that 7 of their last 11 games have gone beyond regulation? And Alex and I kind of alluded to this on the show yesterday. If you had been betting the Dallas Stars games, the draw in Dallas games, in all 11 of those games, with 7 of them going beyond regulation, if you're $100 better, you'd be up at least $1,700 with it during that stretch. If you had bet the draw for $100 in all 11 of those games for the Dallas Stars, with 7 of those games going to a draw, you'd be up $1,700 right now, at least. And that's assuming that the draw price was the minimum, plus 300. But as we saw last night with Vancouver and Dallas, you could have gotten as high as plus 410 at Pinnacle with the draw price last night. So you talk about being able to cash in and being able to profit. You've definitely been able to do that with these Stars games going past regulation. It happened again last night, and that review was ridiculous. It took way too long. You had the Dallas Stars players basically coming back onto the ice trying to see if that goal from Andrei Kuzmenko was going to stand in overtime, but it finally was confirmed. And of course, Vancouver with the 5-4 win. Another costly 1 point goes down the drain for the Dallas Stars. And you never know, based on where they are going to be standing at the end of the regular season, just how much these missed points are going to come back to haunt them. They very well might, especially when you're losing at home to a team that's well out of it. So it's definitely a concern. There's no doubt about that. And yes, the overtime record for Dallas is hideous. 2-10, as Benjamin says in our chat, just awful. They have not been able to win games beyond regulation very often. So that's definitely an issue right now. And Vancouver, as we said yesterday too, they're playing hard night in, night out for Rick Tocchet. You have to give them some credit for that. Very impressive win for the Colorado Avalanche last night. Oh, by the way, Anthony Beauvillier, shout out to him. We were all over this yesterday with his point prop. It was only minus 105. Couldn't believe it. It is really something to see how getting to a chance to get away from the Islanders and go to Vancouver, go to the Canucks, change of scenery, a chance to hit the reset button. It's amazing what it's done for Anthony Beauvillier. 6 goals, 4 points, and 6 goals, 4 assists, and 10 points in 11 games played for the Vancouver Canucks since he's been there. So absolutely been certainly a change of scenery has done. Change will do you good, right? Sheryl Crow from the 90s. That has definitely been the case here with Anthony Beauvillier. He's played very well last night. He scored a couple of goals, set up Kuzmenko on the game winner in overtime. So he's played very well. Pettersson continues to play well under Tocchet. So there's definitely some positive signs here for this Canucks team here the last few games where we saw them, almost beat Nashville. They did beat St. Louis, hung tough with Boston, and now the win last night against the Dallas Stars. Colorado, very workmanlike, businesslike, efficient, strong, complete effort last night. 3-0 win over the Vegas Golden Knights. It was a very, very good win for the Avalanche, both ends of the ice. Great goaltending again from Alexander Georgiev in that game. A very solid defensive effort from the team as well in front of him. And it was a solid win all around. Nathan MacKinnon with a terrific performance for the Avs. Talked about his shot prop and 6 shots on goal for him last night. I mean, he's clearing these 4.5s. I mean, I know they've set these shot on goal numbers at 4.5 for Nate MacKinnon, thinking they've made a proper adjustment. Apparently they haven't because he's still going over. 4.5 shots on goal more often than not for the Colorado Avalanche. And again, last night, 1 goal in the game, of course, for them as well. So it was a good performance from the Avs. 3-0. They are definitely revving up into late season / playoff form with the way they are playing right now, Colorado. Make no mistake about it. They are right now, I think, playing some of their best hockey all season. The win streak now at 6. Following that victory last night over the Vegas Golden Knights. And in the late game, Anaheim 4-2 over Chicago. Very disappointing to settle for a push with the Blackhawks Ducks over as the best bet yesterday, but it's better than a loss. But nevertheless, I mean, we talked about how the trade that took place yesterday involving the Blackhawks, involving Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty, probably make this team worse defensively. And we definitely saw some signs of that last night. Some miscues, mistakes with the puck as well. And Anaheim was able to capitalize on them. So no question about it. Chicago is definitely a team that, with the trade yesterday, worst defensively by far. And you wonder, too, offensively, with Patrick Kane out of the lineup. I know Max Domi becomes the focal point, and we saw that once again on display last night. Max Domi's just been shooting the puck a ton, trying to take the onus on himself to carry the team a little bit more on the offensive side of the puck. So definitely that is something you could take a look at probably moving forward here in this game with the Blackhawks and their games moving forward. And the Chicago Blackhawks are in action again tonight, and we will get to them later in the show when we talk about their game against the Arizona Coyotes. All right, let's get to Tuesday's card. It is a big one, 10 games on tap. It's going to be an exciting betcast tonight. Looking forward to that as well. Let us begin with, of course, the first game here on this card. It is the rematch. Same two teams that played last night doing battle once again tonight. The Detroit Red Wings and the Ottawa Senators for the second consecutive night in Ottawa. We've got the Senators minus 130, home favorites, 6.5 the total. Really not much of a difference from where the money line price was yesterday. Same with the total. It was also 6.5 yesterday, so there's no change there. Obviously, it was a very good effort from the Senators last night. The much better team. It really wasn't even close. I mean, they definitely thoroughly outplayed the Detroit Red Wings. Like I said, on yesterday's show, when I took Detroit, I took the over as well. So it was a split for me with the side and total in that Red Wings Sens game last night. But I did say yesterday, if I take Detroit tonight and they lose, we'll come right back to the well with Detroit tonight. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to the Red Wings here at plus 110, assuming this team will play better tonight. I think they damn well should be, because they were definitely outplayed thoroughly last night by the Ottawa Senators. And Hellberg, I can't even really fault him. I mean, I know eventually Ottawa broke out and they ended up scoring 6 goals last night in that 6-2 victory. But, man, Magnus Hellberg did everything in his power to keep Detroit in it early. He made some big-time saves, especially in that first period. But eventually the roof's going to cave in when you're giving up such grade A quality in the scoring chance department. And unfortunately, the Detroit Red Wings were like that here last night. So I definitely am going to look toward Detroit here, plus 110. It's to avoid getting swept here on the back-to-back. Ville Husso, by the way, will be in net for the Red Wings here tonight. We expect it to be Mads Søgaard here for Ottawa. It was Cam Talbot last night getting the start for the for the Ottawa Senators last night. So it'll probably be the youngster Mads Søgaard getting the opportunity here tonight. This one, I think, be careful with the total. I liked the over last night, but you've got Husso now, the number one guy in net for Detroit. Ottawa going with Søgaard, who hasn't been terrible here in his first few starts, and a Detroit team that's probably going to want to hunker down a little bit more defensively. So, and often I say when two teams play each other back to back, I kind of try to make a case for the opposite to happen. Doesn't always work out that way, but with competitive teams like these two teams, that's kind of what I expect. So I know it was Ottawa and the over last night. I'd probably consider I do like Detroit. I have bet Detroit, but I'd probably actually lean under here tonight at 6.5, thinking we maybe get a little bit of a tighter, lower scoring game in this one. We are involved with props, and I pretty much think, just run it back with so many of these props again that continue to cash in, especially Tim Stützle over shots on goal. That just continues to be a moneymaker. And as far as the prop shots on goal numbers are concerned, look out for Alex DeBrincat. I want to point out Alex DeBrincat over 2.5 shots on goal tonight. Even though it's minus 165, the price isn't great, but he started to shoot the puck more. Right now he's gone, let me just see here, 3 of the last 5 games, he's gone over that shot prop. And he's also gotten over the shot on goal prop against Detroit, pretty much in every recent meeting. And now remember, he's faced Detroit. Some of these were when he was with Chicago, but when he's faced Detroit, he has been going over that shots on goal prop. So the head-to-head matchup kind of points to that here as well in this game. So definitely, as far as this game goes, those are 2 shots on goal props that would stand out to me here with the Ottawa and Detroit game. Of course, last night, Claude Giroux was excellent, got a couple of points. Drake Batherson, of course, scored a goal. He had a point as well, which I ended up taking in that game. I think that's worth a look. Dylan Larkin, over shots on goal cashed last night. You could probably go back to that here as well. He did not get a point, though, last night, which is a rarity for him. It's not often that you see Dylan Larkin end up going through a game where he has trouble getting on the score sheet. But you look at tonight going into this game here with the Senators, held off the score sheet last night in spite of having 5 shots on goal, and you would definitely expect him to try to make up for that here tonight. So Dylan Larkin to get a point, again, a little pricey. So if you don't want to take it as a single straight bet, you can always throw it into an SGP or a parlay of some kind and go that route as well tonight. All right, next up, we've got the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay minus 165, home favorites, 7 being the total in this one. Tampa Bay off that debacle, and that's exactly what it was, especially in the second period against the Pittsburgh Penguins. 7-3 football score. Penguins put up a touchdown, just the field goal for the Lightning. I thought it was Steelers and Buccaneers for a minute, but it isn't Steelers Bucks. It's Penguins Lightning, and it was 7-3 in favor of the Pittsburgh Penguins on Sunday. Just an awful performance from the Lightning. And really, they had 2 stinkers over the weekend. I don't think they played well against Detroit, but Vasilevsky stood on his head and saved their bacon. They got outshot a collective 81-47 in the 2 games over the weekend by the Red Wings and the Penguins. So there's absolutely no question about it. Tampa Bay is going to want to come out much better here tonight, facing the Florida Panthers, who just continue to be up 1 game down the next. They've alternated wins and losses in their last 8 games. Beat San Jose, lose to Colorado. Beat Minnesota, lose to St. Louis. Beat Washington, lose to Nashville. Beat the Anaheim Ducks, and then lose to Buffalo in their last game. They've had plenty of time off, the Florida Panthers, so they're on some extended rest here. 3 days since that last game. They are 3-1. The Florida Panthers on extended rest this season. Worth noting here that Tampa Bay 1 day rest, 21-5, 6-2 off a loss in that situation this year. So we'll see how that plays out for this game tonight. If you actually look back on Tampa Bay, they've had some instances before this season where they return home off a pretty rough road performance. This has happened to them a few times. I remember that game against Florida where there's actually been, I'm just looking back now. Yeah, there's been a couple of occasions where they enter off a road game and they come back home and they get right. And that has been the case more often than not. If you look back at the season and the game logs for Tampa Bay, they lost on the road at the end of a road trip at Detroit 7-4, December 21st. They return home against Montreal and they get right. They win 4-1 against Montreal. They lose at Winnipeg 4-2. January 6th at the end of a road trip. That was that game where John Cooper was railing on his team for taking too many penalties. And then they come back home and they face Columbus. They win 6-3 in that game. And again, hot start for them in that game as well against Columbus when they returned it home. They jumped out 2-0. Same thing with the Montreal win after they lost at Detroit. And then after that, they had a loss at Calgary, 6-3 at the end of a road trip late January. They return home. They beat Minnesota 4-2 in that game. And then after that, they lost at Florida. That's the one instance where they got bombed in a road game. They return home and they did not win. San Jose beat them in overtime 4-3. But Tampa Bay was up 3-1 in the first period in that game against San Jose, in spite of the fact they lost 4-3. In a shootout. So the bottom line is I would think Tampa Bay, and I want to more look toward Tampa Bay in the first period puck line tonight, because we really have seen them play strong in the first 20 minutes. When they're at home, they're off a bad road game. We have seen them repeatedly have strong, fast starts in some of these games. So that's probably what I'll look at here is Tampa Bay first period puck line. But that's probably all I'm going to look at. Because, I could see them jumping out fast and then maybe Florida, settles in and gets stronger later in the game, kind of like, that's exactly what would have happened against San Jose just a couple of weeks ago where, Tampa Bay jumped on them early, but, second period, third period, San Jose got better in that game. And maybe that happens here for Florida. So I think for this situation and this spot in particular, I would rather have Florida first period -0.5 plus 145 on the puck line rather than Tampa Bay in regulation, which is -112, which is not a bad price, but I don't know if I'd want that. These are important games for their opponent right now, the Florida Panthers, who are fighting like mad for their playoff lives. You would think they're going to bring a strong effort, especially losing to Buffalo in their last game. I don't know if I can trust the performance level of this team right now, but you would think effort-wise it's there for them here tonight. So if I look at Tampa, I'd prefer just the first period and then stay off in terms of the full game. I will look at the over, but live, and wait for a 6.5, and it's a perfect night to do that, obviously, with the BetCast tonight starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll definitely be looking at a live over here in this game at some point. This will also be the first meeting between these teams since that February 6th game in Florida, which was an ugly one for the Lightning, 7-1 beatdown by the Florida Panthers over the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I believe that was right after the All-Star break as well. So that was just ugly. So, Tampa Bay probably will look at that game and say, hey, we have a chance now to earn some redemption. That was pretty embarrassing that the Panthers just put it to them in that game. I would expect Tampa Bay to have a fast start, and that's where I'm going to focus on. Not Tampa regulation, not Tampa full game puck line. Hone in on that first period, hone in on that first 20 minutes, and that's what I'm going to do with Tampa Bay -0.5 plus 145. Props here. There are some good prop options here in this game. We'll have to see how it goes on both sides. Actually, there's some good prop options here. Victor Hedman continues to go over his shots on goal. Worth a look. Stamkos been firing it more lately, over shots on goal. Brandon Montour is now all of a sudden a sneaky trending over shots on goal player from the blue line lately. Sam Reinhart has really started to shoot it more. His over 2.5 shots is only around -130. So there's some really good, and I think it's going to be a high volume shot game between these two teams, because also keep in mind, look at these past couple of meetings here between Florida and Tampa Bay. 49-33, 82 shots combined in the February 6th matchup. December, when these teams played, we saw 63 shots on goal combined. Before that, we saw 70 shots on goal combined back in October. So in the three meetings, we've had 70, we've had 63, and we've had 82 in terms of the shots on goal numbers. And if you're going to bet a lot of shots on goal props in one particular game, you want to see some of those, 60s and especially 70s and even 80s in terms of the shots on goal numbers. And you've been seeing that in the head-to-head meetings this year with the Panthers and the Lightning. So I think from that standpoint, the shots on goal numbers are worth a look. There are some streaking, surging players as well here. I mentioned Hedman with the shots on goal, worth a look, no doubt. Reinhardt's gone over his shots in 5 straight games for the Panthers. Hedman in 4 straight games for the Lightning. Colton in 4 straight games for the Lightning. And Colton is a sneaky under-the-radar bargain bin option. He's been getting on the scoreboard a little bit more lately, so getting a point prop on him of some kind, or even a goal prop, worth a look. I think you have to automatically, now, the price is obviously not great. It's Braden Point. Everybody knows how good he is and how good he's been lately. I mean, it's only +135 to +120, and +120 to +135 in that range for Braden Point to score a goal tonight. But he's probably going to find the back of the net. He probably will. And if you actually look at the history and the charts of him in the past, in terms of scoring goals, finding the back of the net here for Braden Point. Braden Point has scored a goal in 4 of the last 5 games. He has scored a goal in 4 straight games for the Tampa Bay Lightning on a 4-game goal-scoring streak. And if you look at how he's fared against Florida head-to-head, Braden Point has scored a goal in 86% of the games that Tampa Bay has played against Florida. So, he's absolutely he's produced. He's found the back of the net. He has been a goal-scoring magnet repeatedly against Florida over his career. And again, so you've got a guy that's consistently scoring goals against Florida head-to-head, a guy that scored in 4 straight games. Yeah, I know the price is not great. You're only +120 to +135 at most books. Braden Point to score a goal tonight, but I think you still have to play it, given all those percentages that are working in your favor. Yeah, great call by Terry. No question about that. He is rolling right now. Our guy, the Listerine man, E2 Cool Mint Lusterinen right now for the Florida Panthers. Yeah, he's been in very good form for them. No doubt, if you're going to look at points props, that is one to put in your pocket for sure going into this game tonight. for the Florida Panthers. What else do we have here? We've got some other ones that are worth a lot. I mentioned Montour over shots on goal. Ekblad's gone over his shots on goal 9 of the last 10 games. There's another one. Reinhardt's been insanely good. Like I said, 5 straight over shots on goal, 9 of the last 10 over shots on goal. Verhaeghe's gone over his shots on goal 8 of the last 10 games as well. Yeah, E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen with a point in 7 of the last 10 games. Good one there. No question about that. Let me see what the price is on Luostarinen. Luostarinen's point prop is probably going to be very reasonable. Yeah, more than very reasonable. Plus 130 for E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen to get a point tonight at DraftKings. So definitely a situation where, you're talking about plus 130, and he's gotten a point in 5 of the last 7 and 7 of the last 10 for the Florida Panthers. And, of course, he's playing a prominent spot in the lineup now, moving on up for the Panthers of late because of some issues with Barkov being out and Bennett being out. And by the way, Barkov and Bennett are still going to be out tonight for Florida. So you've got E2 Kuhlman, Luostarinen centering the second line with Verhaeghe and Duclair. Lundell between Sammy Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk on the top line for the Panthers. And pretty much and then status quo pretty much on the bottom 6. As far as the goaltending, Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky, it's the matchup we expected. It's the matchup we're going to get here in between the pipes tonight in this one. So, yeah, definitely some good props, and it's good. We're going to load up on props tonight. We got a live bet cast tonight. We don't need action, but this is all well-conceived action. This is not just betting for the sake of betting. These are well-thought-out props. These are props that are hitting, props that are trending at a high percentage of late. So, yeah, we're going to have high-volume props, but it's not going to be, we're just betting props willy-nilly for the fucking hell of it. No, we've got logic, we've got trends, we've got streaking, we've got, hot, current form players that we're backing with a lot of these props, whether it's shots on goal, goal props, assist props, point props, you name it. So, definitely this is one of those games where there's a lot of tantalizing options. Like I said on Twitter last night, I mean, now that I've really started to hammer the props and handicap them intensely and put the time and the work and the effort into them on a daily basis, you're finding just such great spots on a daily basis. And there's so many of them. Like, it's really been amazing to witness how many underpriced player props there have been since I've been really working at it hard the last couple of weeks since the football season ended. I mean, Max Domi plus 102 for an assist last night was insane, for a guy that's been, just setting up his line mates repeatedly, been trending to that assist prop. It was plus 102 last night. Player props, like I said, they have become the buffet table food lineup. There's so much good stuff on the table available to you, but you can only eat so much. You can only take so much. That's kind of what it's like right now with these player props. So good options here for sure in this Florida-Tampa Bay game tonight. All right, Columbus and Buffalo. We've got the Sabres minus 200 home favorites, 6.5 being the total in this one. The Sabres are in great form. And, I think it had to have been a relief for Buffalo Sabres fans that after those 2 great wins on the road in the state of Florida, beating the Lightning and beating the Panthers on back-to-back nights, no less. I thought for sure, not for sure, but I was very worried about them going into the Florida Panthers game on Friday night, the night after that wild one against Tampa Bay, where, Buffalo explodes for 5 goals. They were up by a couple. They blow the lead in the third. Tampa comes back and ties it, and then Lyubushkin gets the game winner in overtime, 6-5. Tage Thompson had a hat trick in that one. Certainly, I thought going into Florida the next night, what a ripe spot for them to just hit the wall after that, very, very entertaining roller coaster ride, emotional win against Tampa Bay. But they hung tough. They got good goaltending from the old man. Craig Anderson was in net that night, and they beat Florida 3-1. So it was extremely impressive to see the way the Sabres did not have that letdown or slip up against the Panthers the night after that huge win against the Lightning. And then they come back home, and we've talked about how they've not been the same team at home this year, the Buffalo Sabres, where they have a 12-17 home record compared to that 19-10 road record. They've got a reverse home road split thing going on, this team. But they come back home against the Washington Capitals, who started to feel a little bit better about themselves after that big blowout win against the Rangers on Saturday afternoon. And Buffalo goes into that game Sunday and takes care of Washington 7-4. I mean, the offense is just lethal. When they're rolling, they can be just frightening on the offensive side of things. Buffalo scored 7 against Anaheim, 4 against San Jose. Even in the bad game they had against Toronto, they still scored 3, and that was a bad game for Buffalo, and they still scored 3 goals. 6 against Tampa, 3 against Florida, the 7 spot against Washington. So very scary offensive team. If they can get just a little bit of defense, it's going to go a long way for them going forward. You look at this head-to-head matchup, Columbus had beaten Buffalo 3 straight times since the start of last year. In fact, last year, Columbus swept the season series. They won all 3 games against the Buffalo Sabres, 7-4, 4-3, and 7-3. But boy, Buffalo got them in the previous meeting earlier this year, back in December, in Columbus, 9-4. And we remember that game well. I think I was on the over. I was on the Sabres team total. I believe I was on Sabres in regulation in that game. And, Tage Thompson just went nuts, absolutely friggin' nuts in that game for the Buffalo Sabres against Columbus that night. What do you have? 5 goals, I believe, off the top of my, he was just absolutely incredible in that hockey game for the Buffalo Sabres. Yeah, that was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-goal night for Tage Thompson in Columbus earlier this year. Yeah, 5 goals, 1 assist, 6 points, 9 shots on goal as well. So if you buy into a sequel happening tonight, then Tage Thompson over shots and the hat trick. Do you sprinkle on the hat trick? Can he do it again? Can lightning strike twice here with Tage Thompson against this Columbus team? We'll have to wait and see. But no, Tage Thompson, I think people were worried about him for a few games. Just like a week or 2 ago, people were saying, what's wrong with Tage Thompson there? He had a few games there where he was held without a point in 3 or 4 games there in, the early part of February, and people were starting to wonder what the hell's wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with him. He's fine. He's got 5 goals in the last 6 games. He has a 6-game point streak coming into tonight. So that definitely should continue. I mean, if you're going to bet any props involving the point prop, you got to put it in a parlay, obviously, if involving Thompson. But there's no doubt, he is playing well right now. There's no issues. There's no worries. None. 0 with Tage Thompson. He's fine. And he's probably going to have another really good night. In fact, I think over 3.5 shots on goal is worth a look here. 3 straight, he's gone over that number. 5 of the last 6 games, he's gone over that number. And again, the 9 spot in terms of shots on goal that he had in the December matchup versus this same Columbus Blue Jackets team. So a good prop there as far as I'm concerned with that. Other props, now I like the over. I don't think I had said that already, so I'll say it now. I do like the over here. Why not? I mean, it's just there should be goals. There really should be. I mean, Columbus, I know they've had some unders lately. They've actually been streaking under lately, Columbus. 6-1 to the under in their last 7 games. But you look at some of those games. They had New Jersey, and I think they got New Jersey without Jack Hughes. Winnipeg kind of scuffling offensively. Dallas kind of, isn't always great every night at the offensive end. Arizona can drag you into a lower scoring game. Minnesota again. And then they played Minnesota again in their last game, 3-2. So they played Minnesota 3 times, New Jersey with no Hughes, Winnipeg, who's not an offensive juggernaut at the moment, Dallas, who are hit or miss offensively, and Arizona, who are hit or miss offensively. The one game that did go over for Columbus in their last 7 games was that game against Edmonton, which was pond hockey, up and down the ice, 6-5 final score, flew over the total. Probably a good chance we see this game get over the total. Series history dictates that. We've seen 5 straight meetings go over the total between the Blue Jackets and the Sabres, 4-3, 7-4, 4-3, 7-3, 9-4. So, yeah, over 6.5. You got to lay some juice here, -135, -140 for over 6.5, but we are on that here tonight. You could always wait for a live, a better number, better price. We do have our bet cast tonight, so we do want to remind you of that. If you want to get a better price, you can wait for it during the game. But no question, I think this game will go over the total. In terms of the prop market here, there's lots to consider because I think it's going to be a high event game. We should see Merzlikins in net. Yeah, Merzlikins and Craig Anderson are going to be the goaltenders. Keep in mind, too, Columbus, when they play teams that can score and find the back of the net, with no Gavrikov, he continues to get sat out, I should say. Get my grammar proper. Sat out by the Jackets as they await some kind of deal to be made for his services before Friday's trade deadline. Without him, I think they're a worse defensive team. we have seen instances where this team definitely struggles a lot more in their own end. And look, we saw it with Edmonton, right? Hard to contain that team. And I think that they could have some issues here tonight without Gavrikov on the ice facing this Buffalo Sabres team. But yeah, in terms of the player prop markets tonight, again, I think there's definitely Dylan Cousins. Dylan Cousins. How many times have I said Dylan Cousins? You shouldn't. It shouldn't even have to be said anymore when I'm talking about a Sabres game, for crying out loud. How many times have I said, Dylan, this kid's phenomenal, just outstanding, just love the kid. I mean, he is absolutely work ethic personified. A hat trick, of course, against Washington, a 4-point game, 8 shots on goal. Cousins has now gone over his shots on goal in 3 of the last 4 games. He's firing that puck more. And keep in mind what the usage situation is with Cousins. We've got injuries for Buffalo. Alex Tuch is on IR. He ain't coming back anytime soon. Rasmus Dahlin, who takes the onus upon himself to shoot from the blue line, he's out for the Buffalo Sabres as well. So someone else has to pick up the slack. Someone else has to fire the puck a little bit more often than maybe they would in the past. And Dylan Cousins might be that guy. 3 goals, 1 assist against Washington, 8 shots on goal in that victory as well. So any I'm going Dylan Cousins, everything here. Shots on goal over, goal prop, point prop, goal props plus 200. Point prop is it's minus 150. It's pretty damn good, considering the situation with Tuch out. Cousins steps up offensively even more. And again, his over shots prop is only minus 114 at Unibet, over 2.5. It's an outstanding look there. Yeah, Owen Power, I've got the power. Yes, Daniel H. Let's not forget about him. He is trying to get into the offense more. There's no question about that. And 5 shots on goal against Washington, I think that's a direct correlation. And he's gotten a point, by the way, in back-to-back games. Again, a direct correlation with the injury and the absence of Rasmus Dahlin. No question about that. He's going to have to assume more responsibility. 5-on-5 offense, driving that rush from the back end, driving that offense from the back end. Power play, take a quarterback mentality now of the power play for the Buffalo Sabres moving forward without Dahlin in the lineup. And he's probably the guy that has to do it as well. With all due respect to Yoki Haru and Samuelson and Labushkin and Bryson and Clegg, the other defensemen, Owen Power now becomes your quarterback, your power play quarterback now without Rasmus Dahlin. So absolutely makes all the sense in the world right now, Daniel, to look at props involving Power with the absence of, because again, you got to look for usage shifts. Usage shifts. That's the key phrase. That's the key term when you're betting player props. Look for guys that are going to have to do more and take more responsibility when there's injuries elsewhere. We talk about Cousins up front with no Tuch. We talk about now Power without Dahlin. So these are great situations from a prop standpoint that will appear during the course of a long season. So he's plus 150 to get an assist. I'm disappointed we don't have point props anywhere for Owen. At least I don't think we do. But Owen Power to get an assist is plus 150. To get a goal even at plus 600. But there's got to be some point props here somewhere. Anyway, I'll look at it after the show, but I haven't seen too many of them yet. Let me see if Bet365 has them. And now I use BetStamp too, which gives me usually a good indication of which props are available at every book. But I'm pretty sure there's not a lot of books that are offering options right now on points for Power. So if anyone has that for me, keep that in mind. Yeah, Jack Quinn, great call there. Jack Quinn playing with Thompson and Skinner on that top line for the Buffalo Sabres. Jack Quinn's starting to get, remember, this guy's a talented kid, 21 years old, is a guy that 8th overall pick in the 2020 NHL draft. He had 2 points in the win against Washington. He had 2 goals in back-to-back games against the Leafs and the Lightning last week. He's got 4 points in the last 4 games for the Buffalo Sabres, 6 points in the last 6 games as well for the Sabres. So I agree with that look. Jack Quinn, plus 350 to get a goal. That's a great price. You can get an assist at plus 250. To get a point is just plus 135. To get a point for Jack Quinn is just plus 135. Look at that price. Plus 135 for Jack Quinn just to get a point here tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Amazing. Great price. Again, you're not seeing adjustments here because odds makers aren't keeping up with Jack Quinn being moved up to the top line. We are, but they aren't. And that's why you're able to get these great prices on some of these props. Again, plus 135 to get a point here for Mr. Quinn tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. And again, he's got 2, 3, 4, 6 points for the Sabres in the last 6 games. He has 4 points in the last 4 games, and he has a point, at least 1 point in 4 or 3 of the last 4 games for the Sabres as well. So there you go. Come on without, come on within. You ain't seen nothing like the mighty Quinn. Hopefully he will be the mighty Quinn here tonight for the Sabres in this game. But we shouldn't neglect Columbus, because I do think they will be able to chip in a little bit in terms of some props and looks in that regard here tonight in this game. I think if you look at a few things here for the Columbus side of the equation. Oh, here's one that's really flying under the radar for the Jackets. This Adam Boquist, the blue liner for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's been a point producing machine lately for them. And now look, he may not play tonight. That's the only concern. He's a game time decision, lower body injury. We'll have to see if he suits up here. But you talk about someone that's been heating up in the point production department. Adam Boquist has a point in 5 of the last 6 games for the Jackets coming into tonight. So hopefully he plays, because he's been an absolute steal from a point standpoint lately. And he's lined at plus 142 at FanDuel to get a point tonight for the Blue Jackets. So keep an eye on that. Let's see. Hopefully he plays. He'd be worth a look here for sure in terms of player props for the Columbus side of the equation. Boone Jenner, over shots on goal. Again, they're dealing with a few injuries up front. I think the captain probably has to do a little bit more. Jack Roslovic, this is a streaky guy. And, we saw him with 4 points against Edmonton. He's been shooting the puck a little bit more. So maybe he chips in offensively here tonight in this game for the Blue Jackets. What else have we got here in terms of props? Like I said, I think Jenner's worth a look. Point prop, shots on goal. He's had 5 and 6 shots on goal in 2 of the last 3 games here for the Jackets. So definitely good looks there. Yeah, Jack Quinn for a power play point plus 550 is a great value find there as well. Like I say, I think it's already good enough that he's plus 135 to get a point. But if you really want to go for the bargain, plus 550 on Jack Quinn to get a power play point as well. So very interesting stuff here. And we're just hearing now that it's official. The New York Rangers have landed Patrick Kane. Number 88 is headed here to the New York Rangers. Congrats, of course, to them. Another huge get. Patrick Kane ended up getting his wish after all, moving to the New York Rangers. So the Rangers get Patrick Kane in exchange for a 2023 second-round pick, which could become a first-round pick depending on permutations, a 4th-round pick as well. So it's a 3-team trade. It looks like it is official. So there you go. Patrick Kane, a New York Ranger. And apparently it's looking like it's still a chance that we see Patrick Kane make his Rangers debut Wednesday night when they take on the Philadelphia Flyers. So, yeah, definitely some it's official. Like, we knew this was going to happen. It was just a question of when it was going to be made official, and it has been made official. Patrick Kane, a member of the New York Rangers. And, man, is that team fucking loaded or what? I mean, up front. It's ridiculous now, the talent they've got up front with their forward group. It really is. I mean, it's wow. They can contend with anybody, essentially, right now in terms of offensive firepower. With what the Rangers have. Let's see if we can find an up to the second here look of their depth chart. The one thing about a lot of these sites is they're right up to the minute with some of this stuff. If they put Kane up there yet, I don't think so. But, man, I mean, you're talking about Panarin. Trocheck is revitalized since Tarasenko's been there. Zibanejad, Kreider, and now you add Patrick Kane to all of that. I mean, Kreider, Zibanejad, Tarasenko, Panarin, Trocheck, and Patrick Kane. Are you like, look at that. Look at that top 6. I mean, that's just insane what they're going to have at their disposal. There's no question. And again, Kane gets reunited with Panarin. He said that's one of the things that appealed to him about going to the Rangers was being back with Artemi Panarin, who he was enjoyed playing with in the past. So big time news there with the acquisition of Patrick Kane for the New York Rangers. All right, back to the Tuesday card. Let's roll along. Pittsburgh and Nashville. Pittsburgh minus 135, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this game. This is a game the Pittsburgh Penguins should win, But the Pittsburgh Penguins don't always win those games they should win, and that's the issue with them at times. They should win this game, though. I will say that. If you actually look at Pittsburgh's losses, Edmonton, Islanders, Devils when they got Jack Hughes back, the Islanders again, and they outplayed the Islanders in both games. They probably should have won both games, but Sorokin was just inhuman in those games. And L.A. were the losses. So they really didn't lose to any bad teams. And the victories have been against some of the weaker teams, San Jose, St. Louis, although they did finally get the big-time win against Tampa Bay. That's 2 wins in a row for the Penguins. Does it propel them here tonight against Nashville? It's Penguins or pass for me here. I don't want anything to do with Nashville. I know they've won 3 in a row, but Vancouver by the skin of their teeth, San Jose, who are another team that are, basically trading off and, going to have a hard time winning moving forward. Same thing with Arizona in their last game. I mean, I don't want to make too much of a big deal that they beat the Canucks, the Sharks, and the Predators, or the Canucks, the Sharks, and the Coyotes. I don't want to make too much of a deal about that. So, but again, do I want to lay $1.30? Am I crazy about laying $1.35, $1.40 on the road? I don't know, but I certainly am leaning hard to Pittsburgh. Let's see if Tristan Jarry's in net here tonight. We'll have to wait and see on that. It is, and UC Saros here for Nashville. Of course, Ryan Johansson is going to be out long-term with the injury he suffered. Philip Forsberg's still out. Juuso Parssinen is day-to-day here for the Nashville Predators as well. There are some good props here in this matchup here with the Penguins and the Preds as well. If you look at the last few games, Malkin, by the way, has gone over his shots on goal in 4 straight games for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's gotten a point in 3 straight games, so that's great to see Evgeny Malkin heating up at the right time for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Here's a guy that's heating up for Nashville, though, Michael Granlund. He is one of those players that, sometimes you can't find him with a telescope, and then he'll just get on a sizzling heater, for just a brief moment. And it looks like he might be starting to become one of those players again on a heater for the Nashville Predators. Granlund has 3 goals and 6 points in the last 3 games for the Predators, and he's minus 132 to get a point. He's plus 400 to score a goal. He's plus 110 to get an assist. His props are good. Here's one, it's even greater value for Nashville. Thomas Novak. I shit you not. Thomas frickin' Novak here for the Nashville Predators. I took his props against Arizona. Let me bring up the card that I sent out from Sunday night, because I took props with Thomas Novak Sunday night in the game against Arizona. He was like plus 150 or so to get a point, plus 210 to get an assist. I took a shot with the goal prop. That came in. He's still plus 340 in that stratosphere to get a goal tonight, which is absolutely worth a look. The point prop still really hasn't been adjusted too much on Novak. Even money, minus 105, plus 175 to get an assist. It's absolutely outstanding prop bets, in my opinion, with Novak. He's gotten a goal in 4 of the last 5 games, 5 goals during that span. He has a point in 5 straight games. And again, that prop is only minus 105. And he has an assist in 4 straight games. So you can go goal prop, you can go assist prop, you can go points prop here on Thomas Novak moving forward. So definitely excellent value here on Novak. And again, he's just been rolling lately for the Nashville Predators. And say what you will about Pittsburgh's probably the team that needs the victory more than Nashville, who are selling off parts at the deadline. But Nashville's not rolling over either. Nashville has, not the competition hasn't been great, but they've won 3 in a row. They're not totally out of the playoff race yet. They're 6 points back of the wild card spots. So, that's also my reluctance to lay this kind of a number on the road with Pittsburgh, because maybe Nashville's not totally rolling over the players that are still left on this team. I know they've traded Jeannot, they've traded Niederreiter, and it looks like they're selling off and getting the table set for Barry Trotz when he takes over as the president of hockey ops and the GM. But no, they have not rolled over and played dead, like some teams do when they're starting to sell pieces right before the deadline. So, you have to keep that in mind. Yeah, Pittsburgh probably has the much better chance to make the playoffs, but it's not like Nashville is completely just, shit in the bed and not doing anything or not trying in these games. So definitely that's the concern here. So while I lean Pittsburgh, I don't know if I'll be pulling the trigger. I lean that direction, though, and I'll be looking more at props than anything here. Like I said, Malkin props trending over lately. Oh, by the way, Cody Glass with a point in 3 straight games for the Nashville Predators. And again, with a couple forwards moved out of there lately, that's probably going to open up even more opportunity for Cody Glass, who was plus 125 to get a point in this game. He's going to be on the number 1 PP as well, so he's going to get peeper time for the Nashville Predators tonight. He had a goal and an assist against Arizona. He has points in 3 straight games for the Predators, as I mentioned. So Cody Glass as well, plus 125 for Nashville. Cody Glass repair, Cody Glass replace. Okay, that's not funny. But nevertheless, I do think he has a chance to get on the score sheet here tonight against the Nashville Predators. And again, he's also a prominent role for him on the top 6 forward group now as well for Nashville. So that's the one thing you're going to find with the player props. These teams that are trading away players left and right, man, is it going to open up so many great prop opportunities with these guys that are going to have to move up the lineup into the top 6 forward role and fill some of these vacant spots. Philip Tomasino is another guy for Nashville, 4 points in the last 3 games. He's on a 3-game consecutive point scoring streak for them. So unfortunately, I don't see point props for him, but I do see plus 490 to score a goal. The power play points, oddly enough, are posted, and they're plus 610 for that. So there's another one to keep an eye on here for the Predators here in this game. Like I say, for the Pittsburgh side of things, I think there was a couple more I was eyeing here. Let me just bring up my numbers here. Hold on one sec. Yeah. Oh, Yossi over shots on goal. Yossi's been shooting like crazy lately. And Yossi with an assist, by the way, in 8 of the last 10 games. Yossi point prop, I mean, it's been automatic, but obviously it's expensive. It's minus 210. But the assist prop is only minus 135 for Roman Yossi. And Yossi has gotten an assist for the Predators here in 8 of the last 10 games. So it's worth a look. Gensel as well, over shots on goal. Duchesne assist may not be cheap enough. No, it is. A Duchesne assist is only plus 125, plus 110. It's a good price. Duchesne for the Preds has gotten an assist in 7 of the last 10 games. Same with Crosby. We have talked repeatedly about the Crosby assist prop. I've been betting it on more than a few occasions. So that's definitely an option for you as well with Crosby to get an assist here tonight in this game. Let me look at the hot zone here as well as far as the goal markets are concerned here. Let me just see goal data. Let me just take a look. Is there anything that stands out? Crosby against Nashville has found the back of the net a few times. Yossi actually has a goal in 3 of the last 5 games. So you could even sprinkle on Yossi to get a goal for the Predators tonight if you're so inclined. And what else do we have here on the Malkin, of course, 3 of the last 5 games, he has scored a goal for the Penguins. So, again, he's starting to heat up. Yakov Trenin, 3 of the last 5 games, he scored a goal for Nashville. So, there's someone you could get real bargain bin value on. Again, 3 of the last 5 games for Yakov Trenin for Nashville with a goal, plus 550. So, keep that in mind as well. All right, next game up here on the Tuesday slate, Seattle Kraken, St. Louis Blues. Seattle minus 150, road favorite, 6 the total in this game. So, yeah, Seattle's struggling. There's no question. But if they're ever going to get back on track, it's tonight. It has to be tonight. I know they've lost 3 in a row. It's been a bad week for the Kraken. It started with that. I can't believe they got shut out by San Jose 4-0, but they did. They lose a tough one to Boston where they actually played really well. But they lose to the mighty Bruins 6-5. They did not play as well against Toronto, and they got rolled 5-1 in that game. But if there's ever a game where they've got to get back on track and an opponent that they can take advantage of to get back on track, it's this game here against the reeling St. Louis Blues. I mean, St. Louis played a little bit better against Pittsburgh, but they still got dominated in shots on goal, outplayed, outchanced. That game's not close. That game does not go to overtime without Jordan Binnington. You could argue the Vancouver game before that they lost. That doesn't go to overtime without Jordan Binnington. So, it's been disappointing to see that was the result for St. Louis after Craig Berube had that tirade calling out his best players. They didn't exactly respond in the best way against Pittsburgh. Still got thoroughly outplayed for the most part from start to finish. So for me, I'm going to take Seattle in regulation here. I'm going to trust them to finally find a way. Now, if they lose 4, they lost 4-0 to San Jose on the road last week, so nothing's a given with Seattle right now. They are struggling a little bit. Maybe they could lose this game, but I'm going to take a shot that they don't. I'm going to take a shot that they don't, and they can find a way here. I'm actually there is a -145 on Seattle full game money line at DraftKings. I think what I will do is I will go out with a half and half. I'll go half on the Seattle full game money line -145, and also half on Seattle in regulation, which we can get at +108 right now at Pinnacle. So that is what I'm going to look for here in this game, a little split with Seattle and St. Louis. And I know it's Jones in net, and Jones hasn't been as good lately, but St. Louis to me is just, I expected more after what the coach said after the Vancouver game, and we really didn't see it. They were fortunate as shit that was a game they got a point in, only because of their goaltender. Pittsburgh dominated them in that game. So this will be the first start in a while for Martin Jones. Martin Jones did enter the Toronto game in relief of Philip Grubauer, but he has not made a start since that San Jose game where they lost 4-0. And again, his recent form is concerning. No question. 4-4, 5-4 goals scored in the last 4 games. So that is also why I'm going to take the over here in this game. Over 6 -115. I know the Blues haven't generated as much offense lately. The shots on goal, they haven't generated many pucks on net. Maybe this is an easier night for Martin Jones because of that. But with his current form, I've got to take some insurance as well that maybe we see the over here, Cash, because there is that concern that he's given up 4 goals now or more in 4 straight starts coming into tonight. So I will go with those two, Seattle in regulation and split with Seattle in regulation, Seattle money line, and also over 6. And then in the prop world for this game, there are a couple here that do pique my interest in this game. Jared McCann, where's his point prop? Just continue to bet that. Yeah, he's been rolling with the points lately for the Seattle Kraken. Jared McCann, Eberle, point prop. They're all reasonable as far as the pricing goes. And they've all been cashing in a lot lately for Seattle. I mean, they've factored in on so much of the offense for the Kraken. Yeah, it's only -122 on McCann to get a point. It's only -140 on Eberle to get a point for the Kraken tonight. -120 on Beniers to get a point. As well. I mean, these are all reasonably priced players for guys that normally do hit the score sheet when Seattle scores goals and wins games. So I think they're all good prop looks tonight from a point prop standpoint. I think this is the night too, again, from his days in Nashville. And if I'm not mistaken, when he was in Nashville, this guy actually, Vince Dunn, there's another one in terms of point props for Seattle, but Eli Tolvanen for the Seattle Kraken has kind of cooled off a little bit of late, but if you actually look at his charts and his head-to-head numbers against St. Louis from when he was with the Predators, he actually did do a pretty good job contributing against them. So this could be a night where Tolvanen can step up a little bit as well. St. Louis, I'm staying away from any props involved other than Justin Falk over shots on goal. Just continues to come through, and he's been shooting the puck quite a bit. He has gone over his shots on goal in 3 straight games coming into tonight, and he has also been trending over his shots on goal 8 of the last 10 games. Yeah, Jared McCann with a point in 7 of the last 10 for the Seattle Kraken. If there's one guy that you could maybe look to tonight in terms of props on St. Louis, Buchnevich has been, someone that's been hitting the score sheet routinely of late. So keep an eye on that. So those are the props I'd consider as well here for Kraken and Blues tonight. All right, that's the first half of the Tuesday card. 248 live viewers. Hit the like button. We'll continue to roll along with the back half of this Tuesday NHL card right after we hear from our good friends at Gramco.
All right, whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta 8 products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta 8 products such as vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you, and is also available at many American retailers as well. Get the best Delta 8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. If you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code IceGuys, you get 25% off of any order And all orders on the site that are $50 and higher are shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta 8 products today.
All right, we're back here on the Ice Guys show. Los Angeles Kings, Winnipeg Jets. Next up, Jets minus 130, home favorite, 6 the total in this one. I wish I had a mulligan on that on Sunday. I mean, there's no way that's the best bet for me on this show. And you guys know that if I knew David Riddick was going to be the starter. I had no idea Bonus was going to do that at all. I mean, I don't know why he did that, quite honestly. You just had Connor Hellebuck, and the whole team played awful. It was not just Hellebuck. The whole team was awful against Colorado. This guy has a known track record after losing badly, playing badly, and getting pulled of being just dominant in the next start. And you roll back with David Riddick Sunday afternoon against the Islanders. I couldn't believe that at all on Sunday. And obviously they don't win that game. And I don't want to fault it on David. They were horseshit. They were not ready to play in the first period. They got outshot 12-1 in the first period by the Islanders in that game. But at the same time, 3 of those 4 Islanders goals were very weak goals on David Riddick. The first goal was no screen, and it goes right past him. The third goal should have been stopped by Brock Nelson, is on a torrid streak right now in terms of points, but that's still got to be stopped by David Riddick. But again, they did not come out ready to play. That's the most concerning thing about that result for the Jets, is that after getting buried by Colorado on home ice, that they were that poor coming out of the gate, in the first period. So I don't want to step in front of Winnipeg tonight, because this is the night they'll have Hellebuck. Nino Niederreiter is going to make his Jets debut. Whenever there's a debuting player or a guy that your team gets right at or before the trade deadline, that sparks the team. It can spark the team. It can rejuvenate, revitalize, and send another shot of adrenaline coursing right through the dressing room when we see something like this. So I don't want to step in front of Winnipeg tonight. I don't want to be one of these guys that took Winnipeg Sunday and looked awful, go against them tonight, even though I'm always interested when I see LA at a plus 110 and see Winnipeg bounce back tonight. They will have Hellebuck tonight. They still have a very good home record. They have to try to stop the bleeding here. The concern, too, is Pierre-Luc Dubois, PLD, game time decision as well for this game tonight due to a lower body injury for the Jets. So we'll see if he suits up. He's been pretty quiet lately. He deserves some blame too. I mean, last 3 games, he's been held without a point. That can't happen if the Jets are going to win games. Pierre-Luc Dubois has to be an impact player. He has to be a difference maker on a nightly basis. So there's no question about it that Pierre-Luc Dubois got to pick up his game. He's been struggling lately, but he is questionable tonight with a lower body injury. You know what I'm going to do? It's not, strong, and I'm, it's almost once bitten, twice shy, but I'm going to sprinkle a little bit here on Jets first period. I want to see if it's the money line good enough where I might just play it a little safer rather than the puck line. But I might look at that first period again tonight in this one. Yeah, first period for the Jets money line is only minus 124 at Pinnacle. Yeah, just to be safe in case it's tied after the first 20 minutes. So Winnipeg minus 124 first period. I'll probably stop there. I don't know if I'll take them full game. Maybe they don't have a good first period again, and LA jumps out to the lead, and then maybe we're able to get a better price on in-game with the Jets, which we'll see it during our bet cast tonight. But yeah, Winnipeg minus 124 first period, because now this is Hellebuck's first start since that Colorado game, which was a debacle for not just him. I want to point that out. It was not all his fault. He wasn't on his game. He wasn't at his best, but the whole team was not very good that night. And he's a goalie that typically is very good after a game where he gets pulled. That has been a long-term constant for him, and it's been well known. So definitely, I think Winnipeg first period puck line here, first period money line minus 124 is what we'll look at. As far as the prop market goes here in this one, I don't know if we're going to see goals in bunches tonight. We expect Phoenix Copley is going to be the goalie for the Kings, and we know he's obviously had a very solid season. Hellebuck, we expect to play well. I don't bet overs in Hellebuck starts after he gets pulled. He is just long-term 2 goals, 1 goal allowed, or even a shutout. He's been very, very strong, very, very good off these games where he gets pulled. So it wouldn't surprise me to see that tonight. But as far as the prop market goes tonight for this one, there are, at least a couple of decent options here tonight if you look at it. Let me just see here. Where are my numbers here? Let's see. Hold on one sec. Where are we here? Okay, there we go. Montreal and San Jose. Or no, that's the later game. We're all screwed up here. My apologies. Okay, here we go. Kings and Jets. Kempe, Scheifele. They've gone over their shot props. Kempe 8 of the last 10. Scheifele 7 of the last 10. Morrissey as well. Morrissey continues to find his way to over 2.5 shots on goal. So there's some decent options here. I don't want to go crazy with point props tonight, especially for LA, because I think this is Hellebuck coming to play tonight. So you don't want to go overboard with goals, assists, and points. Same thing with the Winnipeg side. Winnipeg's not exactly lighting it up offensively right now. One goal, and shutout in their last 3 games. So 2 goals combined in the last 3 games for the Winnipeg Jets. So, more than anything, going to be a look toward shots on goal props in this game rather than think specifics for goals and points and assists. All right, New York Islanders, Minnesota Wild. Minnesota minus 140, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. Alex B. Smith is the draw guy, not me. But, man, this is the game on this card that stuck out like a sore freaking thumb as far as a draw is concerned. It is this game here with the Islanders and the Wild. There's no question about that. Dallas is probably the number 1 draw team in the NHL right now. As I mentioned earlier in the show, 7 of their last 11 games have gone beyond regulation. And Minnesota is trending in that same direction. 5 of their last 10 games have gone beyond regulation, including 2 straight games against the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets. So this is very simple for me. I don't want either side. I think it's a tight game. I think it's a close game. 2 teams that desperately need points, Minnesota and the Islanders battling for playoff position. So this is a draw for me in this one with the Islanders and the Wild. It should be low scoring, but, man, under 5.5, minus 140. What is this, 2013 or 2023? Those are the kind of totals we'd see 10 years ago, under 5.5, minus 140. I don't see it very often these days, but it's indicative of the fact we probably do expect this to be a rather low-scoring game. You can find plus 320 at Caesars for the draw, plus 318 at Pinnacle. So, we're definitely looking at the draw here. Wouldn't surprise me if this game ends up going past regulation between these 2 teams. As far as the props go for this one, we're going right back to a couple of Minnesota players that have been good for us lately. In fact, at home, there's 3 players that have been over shots on goal machines here on home ice lately for the Minnesota Wild. Kaprizov, over 3.5. Joel Eriksson-Ek, of course, over 2.5 shots on goal. And Ryan Hartman. Ryan Hartman just continues to be the guy getting it done here for the Minnesota Wild as of late. He got that kick in the pants a little bit from Billy Guerin. It's kind of saying we need a little bit more from, not just Hartman, but Hartman was named among other players that need to step up a little bit. And he has been able to do that here for the Minnesota Wild. He's gotten a point in 4 of the last 5 games for the Wild. He's gone over his shots on goal prop in 4 consecutive games coming into tonight. So there's no doubt that those are all good player props that I like in terms of shots on goal. Eriksson-Ek, Kaprizov, and Ryan Hartman for the Minnesota Wild. And again, it's only minus 140 for Hartman to go over his shots prop. And for a guy that's, lighting it up in terms of points, like I said, a point for Hartman now in 4 of the last 5 games and only minus 110, minus 115, even money basically for him to get a point. So definitely interested in that. Now, I don't want to go nuts with points props and goals props in this kind of a game. You are talking about 2 teams that are kind of, defensively. Minnesota's been very good defensively lately. The Islanders are capable at that end of the ice. And you're talking about definitely a Sorokin and Gustafsson goalie matchup. Philip Gustafsson is confirmed for Minnesota. He's played very well lately. And, of course, Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders. So you don't want to go nuts betting these goals props and assists and points props in what could be a low-scoring game. But that's why the shots on goal props become the better option. No question. So definitely some good options there. I do want to mention Horvat here again for the New York Islanders, who went over a shot prop in the last game against Winnipeg, got a goal. He has a point in 3 of the last 4 games here for the New York Islanders. Again, you're not getting great value, -160, but certainly could throw that into a parlay of some kind. You know what's not a bad parlay here in this game as far as points are concerned? Let me just see here. Eric Sinek and you could actually do three-way point prop. You could do Eric Sinek for the Wild, Horvat for the Islanders, and put Brock Nelson in there, because that guy, all he does is he's just a point mag. You can actually bet Brock Nelson on its own, believe it or not. They've got Brock Nelson at -150 at DraftKings. It's actually a really good price considering what he's been doing for the Islanders. All he does is he seems to find the score sheet every game. Like Brock Nelson, he's gotten a point for the New York Islanders in 4 straight games. And you go all the way back to, you go all the way back to January 19th. He is on a streak of points in every game but one. He was held off the score sheet against Boston, against the Bruins on the road. And other than that, Brock Nelson for the New York Islanders, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 of his last 17 games with at least a point for the Islanders. And his point prop tonight's -150. If you actually look at the percentages, 16 of his last 17, he's gotten a point. It's not that big of a deal to lay -150 for Brock Nelson to get a point. So definitely, it's actually good value, honestly, on that prop tonight. All right, next up, we've got Chicago and Arizona. 3 games left here on this Tuesday card. Arizona -190. Home favorites here, 6 the total in this game. Back-to-back situation, obviously, for the Blackhawks in Anaheim last night. Make the trip to the desert here tonight to take on the Arizona Coyotes. And a tough spot. We probably expect Stauber tonight. Oh, no, he was sent down. That's right. You're right. It's tanking time. We don't want Stauber in there. That's what Alex said yesterday. He's right. It's tanking time. We don't want Jackson Stauber in there winning games for us anymore. Now that Patrick Kane's officially a Ranger, he's out of there, and it will be Alex Stalock returning and making the start for the Blackhawks tonight in goal, activated from injury reserve on Sunday. 17 games missed, 6-7 record, 2.7 goals against, .918 save percentage for Alex Stalock this season here for the Blackhawks. So we'll see how he fares in this game. I mean, certainly, I think Arizona probably wins this game. A tough spot for Chicago, back-to-back situation here. But how do you want to go about backing them ends up being the question. I might jump on a first period. This might be a first period puck line look on Arizona because, and honestly, if you look back at their trajectory and their track record here in Tempe at Mullet Arena, they've had better first periods even than the full game, especially of late. So, I could see this being a spot for the Arizona Coyotes where maybe they pounce on the Chicago Blackhawks early. You get almost a +150 price with the Arizona puck line -0.5 +150. So I think I'll put a little something on that. I absolutely like the over here. No question about that. Over 6, -110, -115. That game should have went over last night. Blackhawks and Ducks. We talked about how we think Chicago is much worse defensively without Jake McCabe on the blue line, without Sam Lafferty, one of their better defensive forwards, both sent to Toronto in the trade yesterday. Arizona, without Jacob Chikrin, they've kind of fallen off defensively. I mean, that's not a good sign when Nashville is lighting you up for 6 goals in your building the other night. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. The defensive play has really eroded here for Arizona the last few games. They give up 6 goals to LA. They give up 6 to Calgary and 51 shots on goal. They give up 34 shots on goal as well to Nashville in their last game in a 6-goal performance for the Predators. And the Predators, are no offensive juggernaut by any stretch of the imagination. So they are not playing very well defensively. They're giving up a shit ton of quality chances, quality shots in general, and giving up goals. Like I said, they've now given up 6 in 3 of their last 5 games. So I like the over here, over 6, -110, -115. Vejmelka is in net for Arizona. He hasn't been this good lately either, let's be honest. Gave up 6 against Calgary, 5 against LA, 6 against St. Louis. So I think we see goals here. Two teams playing for exercise over the total. Yes, Max Domi, anything Max Domi is one of the better props tonight. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say it, but, he's gotten a point in 7 straight games for the Blackhawks. He has gotten shots on goal, has gone over in 3 straight games. And I think he's going to continue to go over that shots on goal number without Patrick Kane, because he's going to have to take the onus on himself to be even better offensively and contribute even more to the offense for the Blackhawks. So he's only minus 125 at Unibet, I should say, over 2.5 shots on goal. The assist prop continues to cash. I can't believe what the prices continue to be on that for Max Domi. Still only plus 100, plus 105 at most books. Just keep capitalizing, keep pouncing on it. That's what you do. He's got an assist to Max Domi. Look at this. Look at this. Look, this is insanity. This is insanity, but it's good insanity because we can capitalize. Max Domi has an assist in 6 of the last 7 games for the Chicago Blackhawks, and you can get plus money on him to get an assist tonight. How fucked is that? Or in a good way, how amazing is that? 6 of the last 7 games he's gotten an assist, and he's plus 100, plus 105 to get one tonight. So it's absolutely a good bet here. Any shots on goal for Chicago are worth a look. They give up tons of shots on goal. Vejmelka saves is probably another good bet. It won with ease in his last start against Calgary, where it was under siege. He was that whole game, courtesy of the Calgary Flames. So no doubt over saves is a good bet for Vejmelka probably tonight. And like I said, it's not just Domi shots on goal. You can look at some other Blackhawks, because all this team does is give up just a shit ton of shots every night. And it probably won't just be Domi. You could go with Tyler Johnson, who's actually shooting the puck a little bit more lately for the Chicago Blackhawks as well. I don't think you want to sleep on him necessarily in terms of the shots on goal department for the Blackhawks. So any blue liner, Seth Jones. We talk about this. Also, this is a team that gives up a lot of point shots. The Arizona Coyotes. So Seth Jones could be something to factor into your prop considerations here for this game tonight. So lots of good things to consider here. More than anything, I like the puck line in the first period on Zona, the over for the full game. And I'll probably look at a bunch of those props. Max Domi, number 1 player prop in this game. Over shots and assist prop especially. Probably goal prop too. You could even go with that as well, because certainly he's been also able to find the back of the net. All right, we have 2 games left. Next up, it is Boston and Calgary back-to-back in Alberta for the Boston Bruins, laying a $1.30 here on the road against Calgary. 6 the total in this game. Certainly the back-to-back and the rest advantage here for the Calgary Flames, but that's not going to be enough for me to want to go against this Bruins team. I don't know if there's any spot that you can put against the Bruins that they can't overcome right now. It's been a great run. They've won 7 straight games coming into tonight, 3-2 last night, the win against the Edmonton Oilers. And if you actually look at this Bruins team this season on the back-to-back, they're a very impressive 6-2 on a back-to-back. 8 situations where they played back-to-back, 6-2, 5-1 after a win on the second night of back-to-back games. So they don't have emotional hangovers. They don't have emotional letdowns. They don't say, oh, we won last night, we can fuck off and lose this game tonight. No, they don't think that way. They're a professional outfit. They're doing a hell of a job right now, both ends of the ice. This Bruins team, they can shut a game down when they have a lead. Their blue line, as we've mentioned, after the Dmitry Orlov trade, man, is it stacked. I mean, that's a Stanley Cup caliber blue line in terms of depth that they have now. There's no doubt. And, the Bruins might still make yet another move, actually, before the trade deadline approaches on Friday. So keep your eye on that. Calgary's lost 2 in a row. It's, Vegas and Colorado. They lost in overtime to Vegas 4-3. They lost to Colorado 4-1. The win against Arizona before that, 6-3. They dominated. They deserved that win. But even then, it took them a while for the floodgates to finally open in that game. But yeah, this is one of those games though where I didn't bet Boston. If I bet Boston yesterday, I bet Boston again, but I didn't bet Boston yesterday in that Edmonton game. If I don't want to be on them today, and then Calgary gets them, but I don't know if Calgary's going to get them. Calgary's got their concerns again in terms of they get their chances, they get their shots, they get their looks. They don't put the puck in enough. Jacob Markstrom, again, just giving up a crushing early goal against Colorado. It's been a continuous problem for him, for the Calgary Flames. But it is Dan Vladar tonight, and it's Dan Vladar against his old team. So makes sense for Daryl Sutter to be going this direction, because we know Dan Vladar has played pretty well for the Flames this year. He is playing his old team. He was a member of the Boston Bruins prior to this season, so should get a situation where he's fired up, he's amped up to play his old team. We'll see if that carries over here into tonight. Yeah, this is a game where certainly from a side perspective and a totals perspective, I am not on anything pregame right now. Oh, yeah, Jacob Markstrom, I think, to be honest with you, I don't know if this is Daryl Sutter doing Dan Vladar a solid, saying, hey, we're starting you because, you've played pretty well for us this year and you're playing your former team. They have no choice because Jacob Markstrom, I just remembered this, Jacob Markstrom is on leave from the team because his wife and they just gave birth to their kids. So that's why he's not there right now for the Flames. That's why it's Dan Vladar here tonight for the Calgary Flames in net. So this is more of a prop game for me tonight. Tyler Toffoli over shots, Backlund over shots, the same guys we've been talking about ad nauseum here for Calgary. Over shots on goal with Toffoli, over shots on goal with Backlund. They've been automatic for Calgary. 8 straight games over shots on goal for Toffoli, 9 straight games over shots on goal for Backlund. You could go with point props for both of them. Although I really favor the shots on goal prop because we know they can be stingy. By the way, 3-game point streak and assist streak for Nazem Kadri here for the Calgary Flames as well. So he's starting to get his game, at least in terms of contributing offensively going. He's only minus 130 to get a point and plus 180 to get an assist. Keep an eye on that. 3 straight games with an assist for Kadri and plus 180 on his assist prop here tonight for the Calgary Flames. That's value. That's value personified in my mind. All right, what else have we got here? Jake DeBrusk point prop, although, again, you're paying always a premium for that. And I know last night he was quiet on the score sheet, but I think he gets back at it tonight, minus 150. He's going over shots on goal repeatedly, over 2.5, minus 125. Shots on goal for Jake DeBrusk as well. I think worth a look in this game. McAvoy to get a point and an assist. It didn't hit last night, but it had been on one hell of a tear before that. Minus 120 to get a point for McAvoy, plus 100 even money to get an assist. So definitely some good options there. I'd even look toward this Peltier kid for Calgary. He has been noticeable every single game. I mean, getting chances. He had 4 points and 2 goals in back-to-back games against Vegas and Arizona last week. He's getting more ice time finally. He's plus 400 in some spots to score a goal tonight. I like that he goes to the front of the net, this guy. He's not a big guy, Jacob Peltier, but he's willing to go to the front of the net, go to the tough areas of the ice here in this. Yeah, the draw. Good call, DX Filer. This definitely has the feel it could go past 60 minutes, no doubt. I didn't bet the draw, but I could see this one maybe being a decent draw candidate here in this one with the Flames and the Bruins. Because don't keep in mind, it's funny how these guys, a lot of the times you get these goalies that face their former team, they want to play well. They really do. And it wouldn't surprise me to see that tonight out of Dan Vladar, who, again, has had a pretty solid season, all things considered, here for the Calgary Flames. All right, final game of this Tuesday card. It is, well, like I say, we may not be on the betcast tonight for the end of this game. If it's a snore fest or it's a blowout or it's just not all that exciting at the time we're watching it, we'll just shut it down after the Boston-Calgary game. But it is the late-night game. There is obviously a money line, a total on the board. There are props on the board. It's still worth talking about. Montreal Canadiens and the San Jose Sharks. We've got San Jose minus 170 home favorites, 6.5 being the total in this game. I mean, this is dog or pass, clear as day. If you're going to bet anything in this game, you bet Montreal. Okay, that's it. I mean, you don't lay minus 170 with San Jose with the potential that they might still, not for sure, but they might still deal Carlson. They just dealt Timo Meier, of course, over the weekend. So, you don't want to lay minus 170 with any team in a rebuilding mode like this. And look, this team's now lost 5 of their last 6 games as well, including back-to-back here at home against Nashville and Chicago. So no way am I laying minus 170 here with the San Jose Sharks. But am I all that excited about taking Montreal? I don't know, but I'd certainly take plus 150 in this game if I were betting the side. I think this is an over, honestly. I mean, I think you just have two teams that just roll out there and put the puck in the net and no defense, no blocking shots. Why the fuck do that? No one's going anywhere but home after the end of the regular season. So over 6.5, I think we could see that cash in here. Kaapo Kakkonen is in net, confirmed for the San Jose Sharks tonight. You know, I'm not a big fan of him. Not consistent enough for my liking, game in and game out. We don't have a confirmation yet, goaltending for Montreal, but we project it to be Jake Allen. It just hasn't been confirmed of yet. This is definitely also, while, lukewarm on the Montreal side, I do like the over. This is going to be more of a game where I'm involved with props than anything else. And Josh Anderson continues to be our guy here. Over shots on goal. Go back to that well. It's worth going back to. No question about that. Josh Anderson over shots on goal to score a goal because he's got to be offensively a difference maker now for Montreal. The onus is on him. Plus 110 to get a point. Over 2.5 shots on goal is only plus 115 at Unibet. So all kinds of great options here as far as the props involving Josh Anderson for the Montreal Canadiens in this game. And again, with their lineup obviously constantly changing as they also continue to make moves going into Friday's trade deadline. But Anderson, on that top line for them. And by the way, making his debut here tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. Hoffman, Suzuki, you could look at them in terms of props as well. But Denis Gurianov, I'm going to jump right in immediately with Denis Gurianov in terms of props here for the Montreal Canadiens. This is a guy that didn't have, a great season. Let's be honest, in Dallas, 2 goals and 7 assists, 9 points in 43 games. This is a guy that had 31 points the year before last year and 30 points the year before that. So he's way below projections. Definitely not been the offensive, difference maker Dallas was hoping, but now he gets, again, that Anthony Beauvillier type change of scenery, fresh restart, hit the reset button, all that good shit. He gets a chance to do that here now with Montreal. So, get involved right away. I'm buying stock in Denis Gurianov here that, he comes in and he's plus 550 to get a goal. They're not wasting time. Marty St. Louis looks like he's putting them on the top line tonight with Mike Hoffman and Nick Suzuki. So plus 550 on Gurianov here to score a goal tonight, maybe in his Montreal Canadiens debut. Definitely would be something to consider here in this one for Montreal. Justin Barron. Justin Barron. It's funny that someone in our chat mentions Justin Barron here, but Justin Barron, I don't think he's going to play tonight, honestly. I don't see it. He's on a 3-game point streak, and he scored a goal against New Jersey, but I'm seeing him as maybe not in tonight because it looks like there's potential. Joel Edmondson, it might be back tonight on the blue line. Joel Edmondson has missed the last 10 games for Montreal, and the veteran blue liner might be back. And it's looking like it's Justin Barron's spot on that blue line that he might end up taking. So that's why I know what you're seeing there, Deshaun, but it may not see Barron in the lineup tonight for Montreal. There are some San Jose props I like as well here tonight. Eyssimont, Mikey Eyssimont, we've talked about him. 7 straight games over his shots on goal prop because of the fact that since he's been up on that top line for the Sharks, he's been getting more opportunities, more usage. He's playing with Couture and Barabanov on that top line. They're playing very well right now for the Sharks. So Mikey Eyssimont, I think, is definitely a good bet. Over 2.5 shots on goal. He could go goal prop and point prop as well. Same thing with Barabanov. I mean, we've really talked about these two guys, repeatedly for the San Jose Sharks. So over shots for Eyssimont to get a point at even money. All that, even plus 270 to score a goal. Barabanov as well, just minus 150 to get a point, plus 240 to score a goal. So those guys on that top line for the Sharks are definitely well worth the look. Do we get another guy that's getting a change of scenery, hit the reset button? They got him in the Timo Meier trade with New Jersey. What about Fabian Zetterlund here? He's going to start and make his Sharks debut tonight on the second line with Tomas Hertl and Andreas. And there's another guy, Andreas Janssen, also brought in from New Jersey in that Timo Meier deal for San Jose. So 2 guys didn't pan out, okay, for either one of them in New Jersey. They didn't have great seasons, but they hit the reset button. They get a chance to get bounced back. Zetterlund plus 430 at FanDuel to score a goal tonight. Why not? Sign me up. breath of fresh air, change of scenery. That guy does have skill, talent, good finishing ability. He's got a good release, Fabian Zetterlund. Like I said, they didn't have the production that they expected in New Jersey, and they're loaded up front anyway. They figured, you know what, to get Meyer, we can part ways with Zetterlund, but maybe Zetterlund benefits here from a change of scenery here in San Jose. So not a bad option to maybe sprinkle on him plus 430 in terms of his goal prop tonight as well. Great stuff. I mean, 90 minutes right on the nose. We just hit the 90-minute mark in this show. All 10 games, I've discussed them and previewed them and analyzed them, sides, totals, player props. Can't friggin' pack any more analysis and info than I did, I think, in the last 90 minutes. So we hope you enjoyed it. 269 live viewers on YouTube. Hit the like button. Shout out to our podcast listeners as well. A reminder, the Betcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you DM me on Twitter at Bobano or email bobano350@gmail.com to request a spot on the Betcast, and we will send you the link for it before it begins. Live betting and commentary with me, Ian Cameron, as well as Alex B. Smith, and all of our great viewers and listeners joining us as guests. Drinking is encouraged. It's going to be a lot of fun just watching the games, live betting, commenting on them as they unfold. The Ice Guys live betcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you DM or email me to request a spot on the Betcast. All right, best bets to wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys right after we hear from Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, our good friends at Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, courtesy of the Ice Guys. Get 20% off of any purchase and free worldwide shipping with the promo code Ice Guys. That's promo code Ice Guys, all one word, ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 400 million balls that you can help preserve with manscaped.com using the promo code Ice Guys. You get the Performance Package 4.0. It is a game changer. The Lawnmower 4.0. It takes care of this, among other things. It'll keep you trim as can be. The Lawnmower 4.0, waterproof. Same thing with the Weed Whacker, which takes care of your ear hair, nose hair. I mean, nose hair in particular. You know, I'm getting up there in age, and nose hair is becoming definitely more of an issue. This will take care of it. It feels like someone's tickling the inside of your nostrils sometimes. It pisses the hell out of me. It bothers me. I need to take care of that shit. This will take care of it for you. The Weed Whacker. Make part of the package that you get with your Manscaped purchase and the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. You also get the ball toner. You also get the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good and looking good and feeling good down in the nether regions. This package is really going to make you feel good and look good and look better, slim, trim. That's what it's all about. And manscaped.com can help you out with that. So make sure you take advantage of this. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Ice Guys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the promo code Ice Guys. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we are back here on the Ice Guys show and ready to wrap it up with best bets. Of course, we are back, though, at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight with the live betcast. We sure as hell hope you're along for the ride with us. First, let's get to Alex B. Smith. I'll give you his entire card as of right now. He has 3 plays. He is on the shocker, the draw in 2 games tonight in the NHL. He is on Calgary. First of all, Chicago, Arizona, draw plus 345. So that's Chicago, Arizona, draw plus 345. Boston, Calgary, draw plus 325 here tonight. So Boston, Calgary, draw plus 325, and Chicago, Arizona, draw plus 345. And his best bet for this show is Seattle in regulation at even money, okay, against St. Louis. So there you go. That's Alex B. Smith's cards. Seattle in regulation plus 100 is his best bet here for this Tuesday card. My best bet for this Tuesday slate, man, there's so much to choose from. Lots of tough decisions here, what we can go with. But I'm going to go with the Columbus Buffalo over 6.5, minus 130 to Caesars has minus 130. Some other books have minus 140. Got to lay a little price, but I mean, it just screams over in this game with the series history, with the way the Sabres are playing offensively, with, Columbus when they play a team that, pushes the pace and has that offensive explosiveness. Their games, tend to be a little higher scoring, like the Edmonton game on Saturday. So that's what we'll go with here. Jackets, Sabres, over 6.5 for my best bet here for this Tuesday NHL card. That'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone for joining us live on YouTube. Hit the like button on the way out, and we will see you again tonight for the live betcast, 7 p.m. Eastern time. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. I'm Ian Cameron. We'll see you in about 3 hours for the Ice Guys live betcast tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, we'll be also back with you tomorrow on Wednesday for another daily edition of the Ice Guys presented by National Hockey Now.